it's a book full of portraits and not full of genders. It's like a portrait book, like where people had the possibility to talk about themselves, and not I'm like, okay, I'm putting you in this kind of section. That's what I wanted to do, to connect people, to bring people together, to
And we did
create
connect.
something.
Hi and welcome back to my show On Air with Ocean. Now it's episode 6 and we have a photographer who is laughing right now. Why are you laughing?
I'm excited to be here.
Josef Wolfgang Ohlert.
It's me.
I used to say,
Servus, grüß dich.
when I got to know you, I used to say Ohlert.
Ohlert?
Ohlert.
Yeah, some people say that.
Josef Wolfgang Ohlert.
I actually have many different names. I have, my name is Joe, Yasha, Joseph. What else?
Daddy.
I don't know, like only since the last 2 years it's happened. I think it's because it got more popular to say daddy.
Yeah.
But I'm like getting much more daddy comments.
What would you call me?
In Twinkie section, I guess.
Really?
I mean, that's not a surprise.
No.
I mean, what?
No.
I mean, you still would do the twink, yeah.
No, definitely not.
Like twunk.
No, twink.
Twunk.
What's a trunk?
Like the mix from hunk and twink.
Oh!
Yeah, because you have some hunk wives. I mean, from dancing, I guess. You know, you have a nice belly. When I met you, when I saw I got to know you like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You had like a super snatched body. That was like the first thing that came to my attention. I was like, who's that? Look at that twink.
Oh, that's why you invited me back to the party. So I was born in Munich and you were born at Chiemsee. Did you also go to school there?
Yep, I did. I didn't graduate there. I think we all have with 16, around 16, we have a difficult phase in our life.
Definitely.
Everything was fine, but I just felt like I needed change.
Yeah.
My grandfather died at around that time, and my grandmother was alone. So my parents came up with the idea if I would like to move to my grandmother to go to school there, which they found that it would be fit with me, and I just moved to Baden-Württemberg.
Did you come out there when you moved to your grandparents?
Actually, yes, I think so. I mean, I've never had a real coming out as you would know it from the movies.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I'm gay.
I never had that because also my parents are super liberal. They're always supported me no matter what. They bought me the Barbie dolls I was playing with. I had earrings and pink dresses and glitter, everything with glitter and rainbow and the unicorns. I was totally all this glam and magic world living, and they totally supported me with that. When it came to the age of dating people, or I didn't date that back then, but thinking about it and having sexual attraction to
When is the age
people.
to date people?
I mean,
Let me know, because
nowadays
maybe we
it's
have
different. I mean, nowadays, I know, when I met young people, they're 18, they're oh yeah, we dated already when I was 12. Not 12, I don't know, could be, but with 14 they already had sex, and I had my first time when I was 18 somehow. For now, that's, I guess, pretty late. I liked it that it went slowly to my sexual life, but yeah, it become pretty active after that. So
You mean active in a top way or active in...
I mean, I'm 100% versatile. It depends on the person.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, so I never really had a coming out. It was always my mother who, when we had dinner with all the family together, and she randomly said
I wish I would have a gay son. Gay people are so nice.
Gosh, mom, please don't do that.
no, I'm not gonna give you that, scene.
This is from the movies.
Yeah, my mother, I think my mother secretly always wishes that she could be the person, the mother who's I love you so no matter what. But I never wanted to give her that because I felt weird, not authentic, because I knew that I have the love from her, which I need to be who I am, So one day, she got that. I'm not gonna do it. I just brought the guys I was dating with me home. It was that's my boyfriend now, and that what it was, It was not big deal to talk about.
Yeah.
Everyone has its own story. I think that's something super unique. Ideal future, you should you don't want to come out, you don't need to have to come out, but for now I think actually it's something really beautiful to share something like experience all together, like to come out. Like
Yeah.
that's something like it's not like it's like your first time story, you know. Some like we had of course we also had our first time in sex, but the coming out story is something super special. And I mean, of course, it's also connected with a lot of drama for some people, but it can be also something beautiful, as it was in my case. And it's something, you know, straight people don't know about. And we all, like, who came out, we had that moment. And that's like the first step to, you know, to stand up for yourself. And that's amazing. That's like a big step for everyone. Imagine, like, you know that from dating. Like, I guess that's for the first date. It's the first thing you have in mind, like, you talk about. Is how did you come out to your parents? How is your relationship to your parents or to your family? How
when
did
it's
you come
getting
out
personal
at all?
and everything.
And that's always something to talk about, and that's always like I think something super beautiful to share with. So, do you want to see this side? Or this side? This side. Okay.
As I am a photographer, you are a photographer. How did you come to do photography?
Art was always a big part in my life. I knew that I wanted to study art since forever. Since I visited Berlin also for the first time when I was 13 or 12. I knew that Berlin is the city that I'm gonna go to. I came to Berlin and applied to some universities. Didn't get accepted right away though. Tried again, and my mother actually sent me the link of the photography school. And I was taking pictures at that time, but not like as a trying to do art, more like as memory thing, you know. I had like a single-use cameras I always bought and went to the parties and photographing my friends. And that's where I started actually with these kind of photos. I applied and they took me right away, like they accepted me, and I was like, okay, as long as I'm not like getting accepted at the art university, I'm just gonna go with the photography school.
Yeah.
And that's where I stayed. I finished after 3.5 years. Became a photographer. That's what I do, what I like to do now. Actually, after the photography school, I also studied fine art. I got accepted just after when I finished. I got accepted at University of Arts, but I didn't finish that. I was there for 2 years. I don't know, I didn't like it anymore. Or like, I don't know, I felt like I have to be... it was not the right path anymore.
You have to be a specific way. If you're not feeling it, don't do it. So that's the way how you flirt in the club?
No.
You're sitting like this and being like...
We're checking out the round. No, actually not. I'm not. This is not my active flirting. This is like I'm pretending not to flirt, or like I pretend not to scan everything. It's more like just chilling with my friends and like look at my phone, like being really cool.
Pretending to be busy.
Yeah, really busy
like,
and cool. But I'm not cool. I'm not the cool, like when you see me like acting really cool in the street, you know, when I'm on my bike, like heavy biking, like that, super masculine, like, stuff like that. Like it's all in my head. Like it's not that I'm for real cool. It's in my head. Like
it's all a lie.
It's all a lie.
But not a lie is your book, Genesis Spectrum. In 2016, you published your first book.
It's about visibility. It's about giving people a platform to present themselves. I always was interested in masculinity, femininity. What's the difference? How do you define yourself as a man, as a gay man? In my teenage years, it was constantly something I was thinking about. What makes me? What is like the roles people project on you? How do you accept it? How do you make them your own? And how do you like push them maybe away and try to define yourself through that? All these questions you had like was constantly with me. And when it came to my final project in photography school, you know, I was thinking about I wanted to put attention to. And so at the same time, Kay, a friend of mine, she knew my work and she asked me if she wants to, I want to collaborate. Just like thinking like, okay, I want to do something with you. And I was like, okay, you bring me the people and we just start taking photos. At that time I was taking photos at the drag queen shows, which came up from Pansy. She was organizing a lot of drag queen shows and had like screenings from RuPaul's Drag Race. That's where like, when it all started, like underground, you know, the old when drag was not really like on the mainstream attention at that time, and that's where I started taking photos and meeting all these performance artists and drag queens and personalities. And Kay introduced me to some people, and then Kay wanted first, she was trying to get more attention like to trans people because she's trans herself. And but I wanted to open up more, that I'm not just like taking photos of trans people, but also like drag queens, agender people, or like just like having like a variation of like people I didn't want to put in boxes, but give a platform for themselves to like, you know, talk about themselves. So we created some like, I don't know, 30, 40 questions, and we gave them to the people, like we asked them, and they had like total freedom how they want to answer them. So some people answered as with poems, or one person didn't answer any of the questions, which we also like. We just printed them the questions there. It's super honest, and I didn't want to make an encyclopedia with gender variations.
Yeah.
It's a book full of portraits and not full of genders. It's like a portrait book, like where people had the possibility to talk about themselves. Not I'm like, okay, I'm putting you in this kind of section. I wanted just to give like a Zeitgeist portrait of right now, who the people around. And at that time, gender was not in the mainstream media, and like there was no press. That was just before Caitlyn Jenner was coming up, and everyone was like, okay, trans, what is trans? Actually, when I started taking photos for that project, I even like put drag queens in the same box as trans people. Super weird, like as you would now like expect like some straight guy from the countryside who does not know about anything about about being woke or like about the LGBTQ scene. I was that kind of person, even though I was in the scene somehow. But you know, it was just like there was no media attention about it. So how did we know? And with that project and with the sensibility from Kay, I got to know how to deal with it, how to deal with people, how to deal with people who are trans, how to be sensible.
I love your work. It's amazing. Thank you. Like, you know, Joseph is one of my photography idols. Like when I came to Berlin, I was like checking his photography, and I was like, I just fell in love. You talked about your studio. It's called...
Sorry, like I was distracted.
called P7 Gallery.
2018 I opened it. I was giving a platform to different artists. Sculptures, paintings, photography, performance, all kind of different stuff. And next to that, I was managing it as an event location for commercial stuff, for commercial like shoots or events.
I've been there.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was challenging actually, because I was doing it all by myself, and that's also why I kind of got like a burnout. That's why I also left Berlin, because everything was too much for me. I would like to think about it that it was a success, and I think
it definitely was.
Like people liked going there, and still do. But now, of course, with Corona, we can't. But it's a great space and a great venue, and you come there and you just feel like you want to create something.
But every time I was there, I was meeting, inspiring people, and I think that's so great. In locations like these, you can meet so many interesting, inspiring people who like the same thing you like. Almost like going into a club.
That's always what I enjoyed. Since forever, that's what I wanted to do, to connect people, to bring people together,
and we did
create something. We know each other now, that we do something. It's always about what actually I think life is about, to connect and to create, be there for each other.
I mean, connection is also with Instagram. You had a lot of posts on Instagram which were about body positivity. I think you inspire so many people with that. 2 or 3 years ago, you did not see any of these posts about body positivity. How did you feel posting a picture of yourself with the message body positivity for the first time? I mean, you inspire so many people with that. How did you feel?
I mean, I get a lot of comments and messages that people thank me for being open about it. But I don't think I'm like the best inspiration for body positivity, because I think the only thing I do is like to be more open that I'm also struggling with it. But it's not only about my body, but it's more about my mental health. Because how my body changed was a lot about my mental health, because I felt the pressure that I'm not enough. I guess there's I don't know, I was eating a lot because I felt like that's what gives me confidence. My body didn't manage well with my mental health. At that time, I kind of felt like this, fuck it, I don't care anymore. I'm overthinking a lot. That point where I start thinking too much about my body, sometimes it's just blocking everything, and I'm like, okay, you know what, fuck it, I don't care about the Instagram rules or like putting, faking it. I'm not a fan of faking it at all in general, whatever it is. I'm playing with that Instagram sometimes, like how you present yourself, how you do the selfies, or like how you be sexy. But I always like to think of doing it in some ironical way. And I think the people who follow me for longer, they get it. I'm still struggling. Even like last week, I threw up again because I'm like bulimia is still something that I'm struggling with. It's not that I'm like super easy going with it. I'm just talking about it. I'm just more open about it. That I'm like, okay, facing it is the first step. If you start ignoring, or if you're still ignoring it, you're like, okay, it's not that bad. I'm just trying to put light on it because I know many other people also like feel the same way. Yeah, I don't know if people feel like that's like inspirational for them to be open about it, then I'm happy for it. I mean, if other people do it, like feel like that it helps them, I'm happy for that.
Yeah.
But actually, first priority is for me that I'm like talking about it, that I can get rid of it somehow, that I'm like being open about it. So it's kind of more like for me a thing that what I do, to say kind of like, okay, fuck this, I don't care. Yeah, it seems like it helps a lot of other people too. So if they do, that's amazing. I'm just trying to find my own truth. I mean, there's no way to make it right for everyone. I mean, that's everyone actually knows about it, but it's still something you have to bring up your mind constantly. It's something you have to work for. Some stuff you already know, but you have to, like the lessons you thought, like you think you already learned, you have to relearn them, even though, because you change, time's changing, and even something you already got, like as a message, like everyone is beautiful, accept yourself and everything, all that, it's like something you have to work for every day. It's not something you reach and then you have it. It's something you wake up and then you start all over again. And we should like try to relax and lose the fear of like not managing it, because you did it before. Even if you sometimes have a time where you don't feel like that, you just should like still be aware of that. It's just, you know, sometimes you have these moods, and you have to accept these moods and relax, that you're like, okay, right now I don't feel beautiful and it's alright. You know, it's like we should lose the fear of like not being beautiful, because sometimes we are not beautiful. Maybe like, of course we can be beautiful, everyone is beautiful, but we should focus on the times where we feel beautiful, you know, because everyone is always like about being beautiful, everyone is beautiful, but no, sometimes you just, you know, you feel ugly, and it's okay to be ugly, you know, that's your perspective. But the one thing you should focus on, that it goes over, that you also have like the times where you are beautiful, and I think you should embrace your ugliness and your beautiful times, you know, like it's all a balance.
Maybe more about feeling themselves.
Yeah, it's just, you know, just accept it and relax, because you know it's changing. And right now also, you know, everyone is in quarantine. I haven't been to the gym for whatever. Like, you know, everyone is just feels the same. We there's a lot of ugliness right now, happiness, but it's like I think we should not see ugliness as something bad, because it's also being part of being beautiful. I love being that person. I love not like living the beauty standards or whatever. And I enjoyed that in somehow. That's why I think where I started posting the photos where like I showed my belly, or just being topless. I struggled with that for years, all my teenage years. I didn't go with friends to the lakes. I think beauty actually at the end is to be relaxed, you know, to be in peace with yourself. That's actually the only beauty you should go for. Can we kiss through that? That would be nice. Come on.
Thank you, Joseph, for being here. It was wonderful to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm sorry that it didn't look too much like in the camera. You can follow me on Instagram to see my
Maybe you have
beautiful
some
face.
little poses now for the camera.
Poses? I'm not so good in doing poses.
Follow Joseph on Instagram and everywhere where you can follow him. Follow me, follow Taimi app.
I follow deep, baby. What?
And tune in the next episode in 2 weeks. I can't wait.
Me neither.
Yeah, and now we're gonna do some pictures.
Yeah,
Maybe?
I guess.
I don't know.
That's what we do. Pictures.
Maybe.
Capturing the Zeitgeist.
Cheers!
Bye, thank you.